father's name is Dwight Elder Senior. I'm a junior. My father was he was kind of very very misunderstood, I think. And I only say that from just personal experience. A lot of people might say different things. It's all about how you were introduced to him, I would say. Um, I mean, to me, he was a loving person to me. Like when I was around him, when I was with him, he showed me love, like a father should. He talked to me, he chilled with me, he told me stuff that he don't really tell a lot of people. So, he was. I love my dad, but at the same time, he had a negative state too that I really didn't like too much of as well. Just with being a very abusive husband, and it wasn't really something that I really enjoy often. So he spoke his mind. He was a real tough person. He was a little crazy. And a lot of people who do know him, understood that same thing about him. I witnessed a few, abusive things in the house. He would hit, he would punch, he would do whatever he needed to do to get out his frustration, I think. I don't know, I don't know if it was his upbringing. I never really communicated that to him. I never really got the answer to that. That's something that I don't even know. And I think that's what gives me my drive to want to know what's up with these young people who out here killing people, who out here, doing a lot of negative things. I want to be able to document that. I want to be able to kind of see why do you want to kill somebody? Why do you have that mind state? Because I don't know why my dad felt that way. I don't know what put him in a predicament to where he felt like he had to shoot somebody in the head. He felt like why he had to knock this dude out, or don't disrespect me, or I killed. Like, that's the mentality that he had. And with having that mentality, there has to be something on the inside that didn't flow right. You know what I mean, throughout your life. And I just want to know what that is. I want to know what that little feeling that he had. That anger. Where did it come from? My mom every now and again will say, "Hey, I'm gonna drop you off. Where your dad is, and you can hang out with him for the day." And when I hung out with him for the day, sometimes he had to do in the streets. And, he'd tell his homeboy or something, "Hey, man, here goes some money, go take my son to go get some toys, or take my son shopping to go get some clothes," just to keep me occupied. But it wasn't really like daddy-son time. So, I mean, I had my relationship with him. It was like up and down, Man, do I wish I had more time? Like, yes. And now that I'm older, I just kind of always wonder. I see his buddies around. I see his homeboys who he grew up with. And I always try to put them in the mind of him. Like, how would he look? This is how he would look. He'd have a gray beard, or would he have a little gray hair? And there's a lot of things that I still want to talk to him about. Like, I think, honestly, I would be able to get him out of the mind state that he was in before. I'd be able to talk to him a little more. I'd be able to kind of help him a little more, work with him, talk with him. Because I'm a communicating person now. Like, that's what I believe in, is communication. And I think I could have kind of got some things through to him. But I didn't really, our conversations were very vague. I hardly remember them. I got a lot in store that I want the world to see. And when I mean see, I mean that visually. So exactly what's being done right now is exactly what I want to do. I want to be able to document a lot of different things about people's lives. And I want to capture what's real. I'm not really I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer, I'm a director, I'm a whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I think that really what I am, I'm just a human being that has an eye for something that I love, and I love my community. I love people. I love struggle. I love struggle because it's something that every person that has it goes through, and when they get through it, they understand the fact of what life really means. They learn how to appreciate life. And so when you have a lot of struggle, that means you failed a lot. You've had a lot of failures in life. And to fail would be one of the biggest things that you can ever do positive in your life, is to fail and do something and keep moving, So I really want to capture those people. I really want to know what their life is like. I really want to know. I want everybody to see them. Nobody sees them. Everybody sees the movie stars, the millions, everybody sees the nice cars and the nice houses and the fortune and the fame, but nobody sees the struggle. And nobody really talks about the struggle, and everybody has it, though. That millionaire once struggled, you know what I mean? That billionaire once struggled, but I want them to know that these people are here, that their story matters. And when people see that, they love it. They give feedback. People understand it. Things change, Just look at the civil rights movement. Everybody was struggling, And when they were struggling, you know, they let their struggle be known, and it made change. Matter of fact, I couldn't even imagine living that comfortable, rich lifestyle. You know what I mean? Coming up, it would have been cool. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, of course. I really believe in whatever happens in your life was supposed to happen in your life. That's how you were supposed to be raised. That's how you supposed to came into this world. So that's how God does it. You know, He gears every individual, I think, you know, towards before they're born, towards that perfect family to create culture as it is, this world as it is. You know, it's like we need to put him in the hood, you know, and he needs to come up in a nice home. And when you do that, you kind of keep everything balanced off, I think. And I couldn't see myself growing up in a different home. My home my home is everything to me. Like what I came up and how I came up was everything to me. Like even the bad things, the hardships, the times when I don't really have nothing to, you know, when you don't have nothing to eat, when it's like you can understand and see things and times is tight and money is tight and you don't have everything that you need, and you know everything is not given to you. Like really, like if you was in a rich, wealthy family, like you appreciate it, you know. And I think a lot of people that come into that lifestyle and that they don't really understand the fact of what this is like. So when they go off to school, when they grow up in life, little bitty issues, you know, my phone's turned off and little stuff like that. Your pain tolerance is not as strong, it's not as big. When you have a big pain tolerance, you can take in a lot. You know, you learn how to appreciate failure. You learn how to appreciate setbacks. You learn how to appreciate that stuff because you like, you know what? I've had worse and I've been worse. So what I have now, I have to appreciate it, move forward. And that's what made me who I am now. It formed me, it shaped me. You know, when people see me, they understand like who I am as a person. I can say what's up to the most hoodest killer, thug, whatever, and he'll greet me with respect. What's up, Dwight? How you been, man? Woo, woo, woo. And we'll talk like that. They look at me like that. You know what I mean? As a positive figure in their life. But at the same token, I can sit over here with this multi-millionaire and we can have a long conversation about whatever. So being able to, how I came up, I was able to see everything and observe everything and soak it up as a sponge so I can know how to communicate. You know what I mean? Like I work with Apple, the most diverse environment ever. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I can go to Sobrani Park or go to somewhere in East Oakland and sit on a corner with a whole bunch of people that's outside just selling drugs, and I'm cool with them too. You know what I mean? So I think that's what my upbringing and the household that I came up in really showed me, and it brought me is a lot of diversity. Yeah, let's take a little walk. They call it Funktown. Kind of grew up in this environment. My cousin Terry, my cousin Haki, we was little young grasshoppers around in this area right here. Um, Up here is where we used to play baseball at. Um, Alleyway up here. Well, if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, chances are you wasn't playing in alleyways like this. Chances are you wasn't creating your own basketball court. You had a basketball court to shoot with. So to be able to have to create your own, to be able to have to do that kind of made me who I am now. And that's what I appreciate, man. These are the moments and the stuff in life that you cherish. You know, you really appreciate being able to just, you know, be like, look at this. Look at all this stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though this is not a good look, this is not cool, but at the same time, like, this is what people need to see, man. People don't understand and see all these mattresses and all this stuff stacked up in this hallway. Like, somebody need to come clean this up. You know what I mean? Like, this is the environment I was raised in. This is the environment that made me who I am. You look at it as like a little bitty alleyway, but when you was young, this was big. You know, and I seen a lot of stuff, man. You used to come over here and you see drug addicts over here just shooting needles in their arm, just standing over here in the alleyway in the corner, doing drugs. They in groups, just sitting over here in the corner, hitting drugs and stuff like that, you know. But when you seen it, you was just like, whatever. Go back in the house, eat dinner. You know, so it was like, it was different, you know. You come in the alleyway, you see prostitutes over here just doing it in the corner over here somewhere to another dude, and crazy, man. You used to see a lot of stuff in this alleyway. Is that what life is about? No, I doubt it. So you just create your own path. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? You don't want to live that lifestyle. So something gets instilled in you to say, I need to do. I see what worse can be. I see what terrible and I see what bad can be. So I want to get as far away from that as I possibly can.
There's so many of you My name is Terry Hill. I grew up around near the Lake Merritt area. They dubbed it as Funktown, but we just call it my grandmother's house, 14th Ave.
What's your relationship to Dwight Elder?
That's my cousin. His mom is my first cousin. Yeah, we grew up together. It was our crew. Me, him, and my little brother. Actually, my little brother Haki, he's deceased now. I still love this neighborhood to this day because it's always got a homely feel. If you go to the store, you're gonna always bump into somebody. If you stand on my grandmother's porch, somebody's gonna beep the horn and say something to you. So all around the neighborhood is history. You're gonna know somebody, somebody's gonna know you. My grandmother's house is it should be a historical site in Oakland, basically. It just is full of nostalgia. Just many generations. Like Dwight is her great-grandson. My cousin Tawan, which is his mom, that's her granddaughter. I'm her grandson. I have a son now, that's her great-grandson. The thing about Oakland is, it's a real crime-driven city. And it's been like that for a long time, but as far as day to day, I don't see all of that or whatnot. Every year that goes by, I at least know at least 1 to 2 to 3 people, at least from 1 to 3 people that I know that's been murdered. So that's not good at all. One story that really mattered to me is probably be my little cousin Abdul. He got murdered, and at the time he got murdered, he was in high school and whatnot. And that really hit home because he was real young. He didn't get to see a lot of stuff and whatnot, and that never sits well at all. He was only 22 years old. So it's like people was passing way before their time. That's the thing to me. Like, it's one thing, we understand death, but untimely deaths, when people don't get to accomplish their full potential and what they need to be and just be around just to get older and see their kids and whatnot, that's hard to really take in. Like, you got some youngsters out here that don't have no value of life, period. Like, they don't understand, like, that life is past 25, 30, and it keeps going, and, you know, so they live it in a real short ram. Like, you got the kids now that was born in, like, the late 90s, so their parents was probably on drugs and whatnot, so the households and the family situation isn't there. So you got kids with chips on their shoulders because they don't have moms in the house, or she's on drugs, or, you know, dad's not around, he's in jail, or, you know what I mean? So they don't really have nobody to look up to all the time, and even if they do, they still want to wonder, why, where's mama at, or where my dad at, why he can't do this, or why they can't do that. So that all takes a toll. Like, my street thing was kind of limited because I always had my grandmother there. So in the back of my head, I always thought of what my grandmother would say to me in certain points. So when I had other friends that was going to juvenile hall or whatnot, I knew I just can't go to juvenile hall and then just have them pick me up and that just be it. Like, that's the end of everything right there. So that always held me back from certain things. So if you got certain people in your family, or you got a certain structure, be it a grandmother or aunt, your mom or whatever, or anybody to step in there, because with me, it was through committee, my grandmother and my auntie. My grandmother handled discipline, telling me certain things about, you know, what I should and should not do, and she stood firm on that. Then you have my auntie doing things as far as with school and whatnot, coming up to the school, making sure she talked to my counselors, and making sure I stay on track with that. So with those two things right there, it made me still, even though I dibbled in the streets a little bit, it still made me stay firm and not do certain things and not go so far, as I seen with other friends that didn't have that in their household, where their parents was a part of the streets heavy or whatnot. My auntie's face and voice came up. I knew the circumstances was gonna be after I did it. I already knew the talks. I already knew I wasn't gonna go outside. I wasn't gonna get a new bike game system, whatever the case may be. So when you got all of that in place, you got circumstances. So you think about them circumstances. If you ain't got them, you just gonna be relentless to do just whatever it is you gonna feel like doing. So it's been plenty of times her face and my head and voice saved my life, actually, in certain instances, as far as me leaving somewhere when I could have been staying out them extra 2 to 3 hours. And me knowing, oh, if I come in here and she's sitting right there looking at me coming through that door, I'm finna be in real big trouble. And that's done really saved me. And I look back at it like I'm glad that, you know, she did those certain things. I probably wouldn't be right here talking right now to you. As long as you got people that love you and that really care about you and that will really help you along the way and put your best interests first, you can make it through a lot of stuff, a lot of rough things. All of that comes first, because you can have a whole bunch of money, and if you don't got them things in place, a lot of stuff won't match up and won't work for you. So that comes number one, family and love and friendship and all of them things, and that makes everything else work out better, so you can share the money, and all that is just a tool to you know what I mean, empower, to help each other out and stuff, but all that other stuff comes first.
My name's Odessa Hill. I just love them. It's just and still now, like this. Yeah, I just love them.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Come on to mama. Come on. Come on, sweetie. Oh, turn around. See that, man?
Sure, I could do it by myself.
So tell her your name.
Terry Hill.
How old are you?
4.
And what do you do for a living?
My reason is that I play with my birds and put them in the bowl. And one more thing.
What's that one more thing?
Daddy cut the grass and Granny gave me a kiss. And I played with my Princess Leia and my Luke Skywalker. And that's my face.
That's what you do for a living.
Yeah, that's my living.
That's his living. Like my whole entire family is that way. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a role. Like me as a person. Like I'm built on all these people. I'm not like I'm nowhere near myself. Like I like to come over here and sit on the porch and talk with Terry because I feed off of that energy because he has a part of me. You know what I mean? I feed off her because she's a part of me. And sometimes I don't even come to see them. I might just come to see little Terry because I feed off of him, like his energy, just things, because they all have a part of me. And my family that's me. So like she's like the forefront of it. You know what I mean? She's my only great grandmother, that I have, and that's so sentimental to me, So just everything from her raising my mother to raising everybody, So she's still here to raise him, and that's a grandmother. It doesn't get no better than that, Just those old values, you know what I mean? Those old values are just the richest thing you can ever get in today's. It's like an antique. It's like something that you can't buy anymore, that you can't find in people anymore. And that's why I come here so often. Because she values the small things that nobody else looks at anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's where you go to get that peace. That's where you go to get that those moments. You know what I mean? And you can't. People are too noisy in the head, She contains no noise at all. Peace. And just the expression that you see on her face will say more than probably the words that I'm speaking out of my mouth, So, I mean, this is why she's the love of my life.
That's right. That's my boy. And this is my boy.
And that's you.
And that's you.
And that's you.
I guess I was just granted an amazing family. You know what I mean? Like, not too many people get this, and experience this. But I don't have to make a dime in my life. I don't have to follow any of my careers or do anything. From this point on in my life, at 28 years old, I'm content, and my life is complete. You know what I mean? And though I do want more, because I want to have understanding for when I do have children, and I want that to continue, and I want that to continue to grow, and I want to be able to provide for them. So I work for that. But as far as happiness, I'm good with what I got. You know what I mean? And I don't need anything more. I don't need this big old giant house and this nice fancy car and all this money in this bank account. That's not going to make it for me, because that doesn't change what I already have. You know? And if I just was the brokest man on earth and didn't have anything for life, if I can just come over here and sit and talk with her, I'm good. I'm good. That's all the happiness I need. And like this little him, like he just came into this world 4 years ago. And I probably have, like, the love for him is just endless. Like, I feel like that's my son too. You know what I mean? It's priceless. It's something that you can't never get anywhere else. You know what I mean? The love that we get here this is what gets me outside of that mind state that, you know, what's going on in Oakland and all the craziness and all the danger and all the violence and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like Terry said, it doesn't directly affect us, because inside of our household, we good. We got happiness. We got smiles. You know what I mean? I've had my little fair share of acting up, you know, quietly when no one else knew. And my grandmother would probably sit here and say, "Oh my God, like that's he's lying to you," or something like that. But I mean, that's the whole point of not letting anybody else find out. You know what I mean? You couldn't even pay them to still believe that I did anything like that. That's how much of a illusion it was when I got home. You know what I mean? My mom is another kind of animal than Odessa is. Like Odessa, when we got in trouble, it would be a game with her. Like, we would get in trouble and she would call us to tell us, "Okay, I knew you guys were outside. I'm on my way. You guys are going to get a spanking XYZ." We'll go in the back and we'll put on some sweatpants, some jeans, a hoodie, and lay in the bed like we sleep. So if she ever tried to whoop us, we wouldn't feel it because we had on all that stuff, and she wouldn't even notice. Like, we sitting there just getting whooped with a belt with all kind of clothes on, not phasing us at all. But with my mom, it was a different kind of story. Like, my mom is the type, she's spontaneous. So she's a right now kind of person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get you right now. Ain't no waiting, ain't no me coming home, ain't none of that stuff. It's just like, you're going to get in trouble now. So would I treat my kids that way? I don't know. I mean, I kind of think I would break that cycle, you know what I mean, of being able to be super disciplined. I think I'm going to break that cycle. I love kids, like, with all my heart. Kids are my dream. You know, to have a kid is a dream to me. So I really cherish that opportunity to be able to do everything correctly. You know what I mean? I don't want anything in the future to kind of reflect back and I say, you know, I wish I wouldn't have did that. And I think about that now, though I don't have a child. I still think about it now, and I have a puppy. And the puppy is kind of teaching me how to discipline someone without having to be able to hit them or be harmful. You know what I mean? And every now and again, you get that anger to where you're like, you want to hit them. You know what I mean? And I just don't do it. It's just like, I really believe in a kid respecting and communicating with their father or their mother so they can understand the reasonings behind why they're acting like they're acting. Why are you reacting like you're reacting, mom and dad? You know, we need to discuss these things so we can know, we can be aware of what's happening. And I think that's what happens in the community, that no one communicates to really figure out why, you know? We just automatically say, end result, you did, whoop. You didn't do this, you get a whooping for it. You know what I mean? That's just the consequences and it shouldn't have to go that way, you know? We had some kids that I know that were raised just like I was raised, good kids and everything. They were shot and killed, but it was because they were at the wrong place, wrong time. You know what I mean? It just was a different kind of built for them. God had a different plan for them, I would say. And to them, I was just around a bunch of youngsters last night who was talking about the same stuff. You know what I mean? Like they were like, I mean, you could just tell by their vernacular and just how they carried themselves, what they talked about. It was all like, it was like I have no reason to even care about your life or my life. You know, I'm so deeply in pain. I'm so deeply in you know, I don't have anything to eat tonight. You know, I'm gonna starve. I'm gonna starve tonight. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna feed my son. Like, these people don't have no regards for whatever your life consists of. Why? Why should I? You know, who cares about my life? Who cares about my kid here that's starving and crying because they don't have anything to eat? Who cares about them? Nobody cares about them, so why should I care about you? Why? You know, people that are in those situations, they don't do it because it's a choice. Nobody want to kill and murder and shoot somebody. That's not a choice. you know, to some people. It's just, this is all I know. You know, I don't know anything else, you know? And God forbid that something happened with just hearing these sirens, but like over here in West Oakland, you get it so much that it's a day-to-day life, you know? Some people don't even fathom to understand what I'm talking about, but like, I mean, it's not like ridiculous or nothing like that, but it is ridiculous. Like just the other day, I just heard bam, 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 like multiple shots. Then you sit and you wait. Then you hear these sirens and you're like, God, I hope something didn't happen to somebody. It's just, I mean, it really, really, really hurts me when I hear it. Because I hear shots probably almost every other night, if not every night, that you just hear some gunshots. Whether there's somebody shooting in the air, whether there's somebody testing out a gun, somebody selling them, I have the slightest idea. But you hear those shots and you're just like, I hope nothing happened to somebody, you know what I mean? Because it's getting ridiculous. Like, why do you have to resort to that these days, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, the old school fighting, punching way, that's cool. You know, I get it. You know, that's just a form of battle. That's just self-preservation. I just want to make sure that you don't attack my ego. So I'm going to attack yours in order to get the record straight. But to just shoot and take your life for that, they have no guidance. They have no understanding of what's going on. You know what I mean? And that's just the problem of what I feel and what I don't like about what goes on around me. And I feel like I really, really would want to do something about it. You know what I mean? But it's just like we're not actually doing anything about it from a standpoint of how should we go about approaching this epidemic? Do we take the guns out of the community? No, that's not going to change anything because the gun is not shooting anybody. The gun is not just getting up and shooting somebody. It's the individual that's actually doing the killing. And you have to attack that individual. You don't look at him and say, this is a beast. Let's get this mourning family over here. Are you guys okay? What can we do for you guys? Sorry for your loss. But this beast over here just took the life of your son. That's where the problem goes. Figure out what's going on with him. We get in his mind. What is he missing? What does he need? Let's try to give him some comfort. Let's love on him because that might change his life. And that's how you stop the epidemic. You want to get inside his mind and see what's going on with him. He's the killer. He's not a killer until he actually pulls the trigger. You know what I mean? He's not a killer to you. He's a regular young boy that's just like your son, your son, your son. Until he pulls the trigger, now he's considered a beast, an animal. So you try to get him before he actually pulls that trigger. And if you kind of can get him past that phase, he's not going to do it. Like the shooter thing. Like you have shooter, and then you have, you know, the camera and Dwight and all that kind of stuff. Two different people. And then you have Dwight that has a heart that wants to know about that. But then you have shooter, and shooter came about let's utilize these devices, these cameras, like we do guns. And if we start shooting people from a perspective, whereas we can, if I can walk up on you and I can pull out my camera and I can shoot you and talk to you about a lot of things that you're facing in life of why did you go into that neighborhood and shoot up everybody and end up killing those innocent kids. If I can shoot you with that and I can put it out in society and make it viral, people would hear that story because nobody ever does it. Nobody ever talks about that story. Nobody ever knows why that young guy wanted to go over there and do that. Nobody ever talks to him. We see it from a perspective where we have documentaries on serial killers and why they ate people and did all this other crazy stuff. Nobody wants to hear about that. Those people are insane. Let's talk about the little kid who just got straight A's in school, who got beat up, and he felt like, okay, I got humiliated in front of everybody. I'm about to go and just shoot this one guy. That thought, that glitch came from somewhere. Let's figure out what that glitch is. If we figure out what that glitch is with this gun, this camera, and we shoot people with that camera, and we start getting people to start using it for more productive situations, like, you know, not just let's take pictures and look cute and let's look good, put it on Instagram, XYZ. Let's start seeing and let's start pulling out our cameras to talk to my little brother. You know what I mean? Like, here's a story. Like, if you just got an iPhone and you just shoot your little brother and say that, yo, you know, my little brother just walked up to me, not me, but my little brother just walked up to me today and said that, yo, I feel like I want to kill this dude at my school. And he just wanted to tell me because he tells me all this personal information. Sit down and you can talk to him about it. You know what I mean? And whether it's, you don't have to even put it on camera, but just have a conversation with him about it. You know what I mean? And just ask him, you know, would you want to tell this story? Because I want people to really hear this. And if you can do something like that, that would be life-changing. That's how you stop the violence. If you open up that communication channel, you got a different society.
Working together. Working together.